Yes, there's a question from Evan, and he wants to know our thoughts on Lucas Moura now that Son is back.
Actually, I have a similar question here from Twitter from Mo. So he was wondering what the thoughts on Son was as well. So, yep, that's a good one to cover. I think I hear Jay in one of his streams or content videos saying that you think there's a possibility that Son could be back after the international break. Based on the fact that he has some time during the international break to rest.
It's just conjecture on my part, but the fact is that they've just played the Asian Cup or Asian Games final. There seems to be no logical reason, and I've not looked it up, so they could have a game this weekend coming up, but I don't see why they would have a game the weekend after they've won the Asian Cup. It makes no sense. Point. So he's going to come back, I'm presuming. Now doesn't have to worry about military service, which I don't know for definite, but I'm imagining he's happy about. So,
well, based on some of the videos of him celebrating, I would think so.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen any of those videos, but yeah, like he's a footballer. He wants to carry on playing football. The last thing he really wanted to do was do military service. So, I think he will have almost 2 weeks off before the next game. He did play the first game of the Premier League season. He has still got the game time, match fitness, all that, because he has been playing. They might give him the next game week off, it's possible. But I think he will be back pretty soon as far as an option for Pochettino to pick. So the reason I worry about Moura is that Son issue. Do they play a formation where they could play both of those players? I don't think the 3-5-2 they've been playing really has a position for both Son and Moura, and the 4-2-3-1 they sometimes play, I'm not sure you're really going to have Eriksen and or Ali not playing in that side either. So I just don't know where both of them fit into the same system, which means only one of them is going to fit into the system. And yes, Lucas Moura's had a great start, but Son has had good season last year for Spurs. So I suppose it's all on the manager's choice of who he actually prefers. So that is why I'm in an R about Moura. And one of the reasons I made the change to Walcott straight away was because it looked like he might rise in price. I did actually fancy Moura to more likely get points, but I was just thinking long term. I wasn't planning on using my wild card. I thought Moura might not be in the Spurs starting lineup for that much longer. But shame, because I would have liked him for the last game week if I'd known I was going to play my wild card.
You would have got Moura points.
Just to quickly add to that, Jay, I just did a quick Google, and apparently South Korea do have 2 friendlies in this international break.
Well, everything I said's pointless.
No, not at all, not at all. So South Korea apparently playing Costa Rica on the 7th, and then Chile on the 11th. So whether or not, maybe they'll field weakened sides in these friendlies because they've had such, a lengthy sort of Asian Cup games and that kind of thing. For me, similar to what Jay said, it's like with Moura, I think you're safe for now. I do. I think because of his form, he'll be okay in the next game week, maybe even the game week after. But I don't like owning these players where it's always in the back of your mind that someone could come in. And that's kind of why I've been tempted to get Pedro for a few weeks, but I'm always like, well, Willian could play. So it's like, I don't like to bring in a player that all of a sudden you're always worrying, is he going to get swapped or not? And then, like I was saying last week, like if you own a player that plays 60 minutes and doesn't score, then they get subbed. If Pedro doesn't score after 60 minutes, Willian will come on. If Willian doesn't score after 60 minutes, Pedro will come on. And it's the same with Morata and Giroud, or, potentially Lucas Moura and Son as well. So Son is a player I would love to bring in when he gets back into the side in a few weeks, maybe at 8.3 million at the moment. But that's why I've stayed away from Lucas Moura, not because he isn't safe for the next few game weeks, but just because eventually you're going to have that little worrying thought in your mind that Son could come in for him.
The problem is there's so little stability in that price area. Like you said, everyone we're all looking at our rotation risk. And I'm on a wild card and I'm thinking, oh, yes, that's person. And I put them in and then I think, oh, no, but then they could get rotated with this person. I'm thinking, who do I stick in for that kind of 6-7 million spot? It's just...
I think that's why a lot of people are, looking towards Maddison. at Leicester, because he does offer you that guarantee of starts by the looks of things, and good fixtures too, you know. So he's definitely one I'm considering as a Walcott replacement if Walcott isn't past fit. I would like him to be past fit at home to West Ham, obviously, but yeah, that's maybe something to think about in him. I think Maddison could be a good shout for that certainty of starts.
I think there's a little bit of me that's thinking I'll just choose somebody like Moura and then switch back to Richarlison, who will obviously be nailed, you know, in the team as soon as he's back. So that's the other bit of me that's like considering that. And Kurt, anything else you'd like to add to that point?
Well, I suppose with that point, obviously, if you've got Lucas in the team, I think I just out of curiosity, I looked back at Tottenham's last few games. So you look at the Watford game, 1 assist for Lucas Moura in FPL. Then you look at the Man United game, 3-0. You're looking at 2 goals for Lucas Moura. And you go to like the game before that, in the 3-1, Lucas Moura has scored again. So he's contributing to goals. He's playing well. It's not as if he's just in there. He's got 2 assists, let's say, that were sort of mishit shots that have gone across. This is a player that's in form and playing well. Yes, he's a rotation risk, but my thoughts are he should really be given the time. Obviously, I'm not the manager. But he should be given the time because if you look at the Watford game, it wasn't the best, but he's the only one that's contributed to a goal in that game. You look at the Man United game, he was the best player on the pitch. Even Man United fans are taking pictures of him after, and that says something after your team's been beaten 3-0 at home. It goes back to the point I made a few minutes ago, is that this time in the season, it's ideal to make sure you've got 15 players that can play. Rather than going to a £4.5 million midfielder for the bench, go up 0.5 and get someone like Jorginho or Kante or Ruben Neves. You know they're going to play. Go up an extra 0.5, maybe lose a couple of million on one player, but at least then if you say he does get dropped, he doesn't come on, let's say they win 4-0, he doesn't need to come on, let's make defensive subs. You've got a player that's going to come in, and Jorginho's got a chance to get points, same with Kante, the way they go forward, same with Ruben Neves. Just ensure that you've got those 15. You don't want him to be benched and think, oh, look at your bench and you've got 4.0 defender not playing, 4.5 midfielder and attacker not playing. That's when you start losing points. But have a backup before you've got the main plan sorted, just in case what you've got there doesn't work, in my eyes. But I'd say keep him, because I don't think he deserves to be dropped just yet. It's not as if he's played poorly.
Exactly,
he's played really well.
Yeah. I think if I owned him, definitely keep him. Yeah, but definitely. because I don't, maybe that's what's keeping me from buying him.
Yeah, I'd say that. I'd say if you've got him, keep him. If you haven't got him, wait, because it's the best thing you can do.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I'm tempted. But no, I completely understand about the bench, and it's why I'm kind of wild carding, is because especially if I was to go for somebody like Lucas, I really want that somebody on the bench who's going to come in if he gets rotated.